So we're out here off-roading. Looks like we took a wrong turn, so we gotta head back up this mountainside and come down it. Basically change our approach. It's gonna add a couple miles of canoeing. We're gonna go from about like 3/4 of a mile. Oh! Yeah, we off-roaded. We're going from like 3/4 of a mile to like 6 miles of canoeing. This is so much fun. So this is just a little video, sort of a hunt journal, reminiscing about the off-road canoe backpack trip that we took into the mountains of South Carolina to try to find some deer. Spoiler alert, we were unsuccessful, but we had an amazing time. That's my buddy Jackson, sometimes called Crack Jackson. He's a good egg. And I went with him and another buddy named Greg Bakos, Baked Goods. And we paddled across the lake. That's Baked Goods waving at us right there. This is our campsite, and it is as bad as it looks. It was really tough. We had to build a little ladder. So the first morning, it was just pouring rain. It was like, 3 a.m., dark, it's cold, it's pretty miserable. We thankfully made some coffee, and we set off, basically. We dropped a couple pins pretty close to the border, and the only way to get up to where we thought there was a chance that there might be a logging road was through this creek. All in here is just insanely steep. And that's kind of like part of why we went. We wanted to do something like kind of like an adventure hunt, And this was pretty early on in my hunting career. I could barely identify a rub, a scrape, tracks even really a trail. I was really new to this stuff. I wasn't new to camping, I wasn't new to paddling, but I was really new to everything on the hunting side. So we just worked our way up this creek, basically. Some parts were pretty steep. It was all really wet, and we just did what we could, essentially, to make it to the top. We did find the logging road. So after a really cold and wet sit, we all kind of grouped back up together because we had split up, and we made our way to higher elevation. We found this big ridge. By now, it's kind of starting to warm up. Everybody's kind of dried out a little bit, and we were kind of just trying to cover some ground, cover some country, see what we could see if there was anywhere good to set up. On the way back, I had the brilliant idea of taking a shortcut down this little draw, and it was terrible. It was crazy steep, insanely thick. Jackson almost got swallowed up by quicksand, but we rescued him just in time. The next morning, we kind of set out right at dark. Beautiful, calm day. Paddled across the lake in the dark and made it out to the mountains, where we were able to find some incredible views. No deer, but beautiful scenery. We paddled right near this waterfall around lunchtime when we all kind of met back up to cook lunch together. Yeah, and we just explored the area, really, covering as much country as possible, but the reality is it's really thick in here. When I tried to get into a spot I thought there might be something in, I was on my hands and knees crawling through just like really thick brush. Okay, so I'm like neck deep in just thick brush. Like, I've just been crawling on my hands and knees for like, I don't even know how long. It's only 100 yards from me to the water, but I can't see anything in here. I lost my rangefinder somewhere back there, and I don't see any sign in here. There's game trails, tons of game. It looks like tons of game trails, but there's no rubs, no scrapes, no poop, no bedding, nothing. And I can't see basically past the end of my rifle. So, yeah, I'm almost out of light. and I'm pretty deep in, so I might just end up heading back. It's gonna suck to crawl through that stuff in the dark. The sun is about to go down, and if I go back in the light, there's some chance I might still find my rangefinder. But if I try to keep going, if I make it to the water, there's a good chance I don't make it back up. It's super steep. It's crazy thick. I'll show you how thick it is. It's insane in here. Most of the time that I've spent out in the woods, I've spent on trails, camping, backpacking, hiking. I was a Boy Scout. And in spite of all that exposure, I'd never gone off trail like how I have been able to with hunting. And when I got myself really, really deep in there, I was pretty surprised. It was difficult to see, difficult to move. Definitely was not about to sneak up on any deer in terrain that thick. So I just did what I could to kind of explore, maybe find a spot to set up somewhere next year. Next morning, pretty much our last day, we had to paddle out, and it was raining again. Our stuff almost got washed away from the rising waters. We were at the mouth of a river, essentially. That's Greg, just doing Greg stuff. Beautiful weather coming out. And we stopped a little bit when the rain stopped and did some scouting. We try to find a better campsite for the next time we come back. Try to find somewhere that might be better to set up, maybe a little less steep, something that the deer would be more likely to use. Got to see some more cool wildlife, but not really a ton of deer sign. Toward the end, we did catch a couple of eagles, and I gotta say, as one of my earliest hunt experiences, this was super formative. It was just an incredible, mountain South Carolina experience. Out in the deep woods, not near roads. We're not near anything. And it's just something that I think I'm always going to remember as this is what hunting means to me, is to get out deep, far away from everything, where the people are, do something really difficult, even if you don't see anything. Just have an amazing time with good friends.